From the clash of ancient shields to the roar of modern artillery, humanity's story is etched in conflict. Every battle, every skirmish, every strategic masterstroke has carved its mark upon the world we know today. We will journey across continents and centuries, from the deserts of Kadesh, where chariots once thundered, to the muddy fields of Europe, where empires were won and lost. We'll explore the pivotal moments that shaped nations, the brilliant tactics that turned the tide, and the incredible sacrifices made on the front lines. This isn't just about dates and names, it's about the pulse of combat, the weight of command, and the human stories behind the greatest struggles in history. Welcome to Battles Through History. Subscribe now and prepare to witness the past come alive like never before. In the fading light of the 6th century BCE, a tiny flicker of an idea called democracy, born in the city-state of Athens, dared to defy the mightiest empire the world had ever known, Persia. This single act of defiance, supporting a Greek revolt against Persian rule, ignited the fury of King Darius I. He swore an oath of vengeance, and in 490 BCE, the full weight of his empire was set in motion. The first Persian invasion of Greece was underway, with a singular, brutal goal: to crush Athens and bring all of mainland Greece to its knees. A colossal fleet, a testament to Persian power, crossed the Aegean Sea. Under the command of Datis and Artaphernes, they made landfall at a place that would echo through history, the coastal plain of Marathon, a mere 26 miles from the heart of Athens. For the Athenians, the sight of this armada must have been terrifying. The Persian Empire stretched across 3 continents, a sprawling behemoth of wealth and military might. Opposite them stood a small, rocky peninsula, home to a patchwork of fiercely independent city-states. The odds were not just long, they were unthinkable. The Persian force, a vibrant, diverse host of infantry, archers, and cavalry, was a machine built for conquest. While historians debate the exact numbers, they vastly outnumbered the defenders. Against this tidal wave of steel and arrows, Athens could muster only about 10,000 of its citizen soldiers, the hoplites, later reinforced by 1,000 loyal allies from the city of Plataea. The very survival of Athens hung by a thread. In the ensuing crisis, the city's leaders, 10 elected generals known as the strategoi, debated their next move. Should they barricade themselves within their city walls and pray for a miracle, or march out to meet the invaders on open ground? One voice rose above the others, that of Miltiades, a seasoned general with first-hand knowledge of Persian tactics. He argued for a bold, decisive confrontation. In a desperate plea for help, Athens dispatched its swiftest runner, Pheidippides, on a legendary run to Sparta, Aetafts, but Sparta was in the midst of a religious festival and could not march. The aid would arrive, but it would be too late. Athens was on its own. Imagine the scene on the plain of Marathon. On one side, the Greek phalanx, a solid wall of bronze and iron. Each man a hoplite, clad in heavy armor, carrying a large round shield, the aspids, and a long spear. They stood shoulder to shoulder, a disciplined, unified killing machine. On the other side, the Persian lines, a dazzling but less uniform array. Archers with powerful bows, infantry with wicker shields and colorful tunics, and the feared cavalry waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It was a stark contrast, the sheer, overwhelming numbers of the Persian Empire versus the disciplined, heavily armored resolve of a free people fighting for their homes. For several tense days, the two armies faced each other in a stalemate. The terrain, marshy at the edges, was ill-suited for the Persian cavalry, neutralizing their greatest advantage. The Persians waited, confident in their numbers. The Athenians waited, knowing that every passing moment brought the Spartans closer, but also risked a Persian maneuver to bypass them and sail directly for the undefended city. The decision fell to Miltiades. On the day the Athenians chose to fight, he rolled the dice on a tactical innovation so audacious, so contrary to conventional Greek warfare, that it bordered on madness. Standard hoplite tactics relied on a strong, unified line of equal depth. Miltiades shattered this convention. He ordered the Athenian center to be thinned out, perhaps only 4 men deep, making it dangerously weak. But all the men he pulled from the center were piled onto the flanks, the wings of his army, making them incredibly deep and powerful. It was a trap. Miltiades was intentionally creating a weak point, inviting the best of the Persian infantry to smash through his center, believing they had broken the Greek line. He was counting on the superior discipline and strength of his flanks to hold, and then to turn the tide. Then the order was given. Advance. What happened next was unheard of. The entire Athenian line, 10,000 men in heavy armor, began to move forward. As they closed the distance to the Persian lines, they entered the kill zone of the Persian archers, who unleashed a storm of arrows. To minimize their time under this deadly barrage, the Athenians did the unthinkable. They broke into a run. A charging wall of bronze, spears leveled, closing the final 200 yards at a sprint, a terrifying and awe-inspiring sight. The two armies crashed together with a sound like thunder. The clash of spear on shield, the screams of men filled the air. And just as Miltiades had gambled, the superior Persian infantry, their elite troops, punched through the deliberately weakened Greek center. For a moment, it must have looked like an Athenian disaster. The Persian commanders likely tasted victory, but the trap was sprung. At the decisive moment, as the Persian center pushed forward into the gap, the heavily reinforced Greek flanks, which had defeated their opposite numbers, did not pursue. The Athenian losses? Instead, they executed a complex and brilliant maneuver, wheeling inward with perfect discipline. They smashed into the exposed, unprotected sides of the Persian forces, now caught deep within the Athenian line. The hunters had become the hunted. The pincer closed. The elite Persian soldiers, who had broken the center, suddenly found themselves surrounded on 3 sides, assailed by a forest of spears. What followed was not a battle, but a slaughter. Caught in Miltiades' deadly embrace, the Persian army, so used to victory, broke. Panic spread like wildfire. The disciplined advance dissolved into a chaotic, desperate flight back towards the beaches, back to the safety of their ships. The trap had worked perfectly, but the Athenians were not done. Exhausted, having charged in heavy armor and fought a brutal battle, they found a new reserve of strength. They pursued the routing Persians relentlessly, giving them no quarter, no chance to regroup. The fighting spilled onto the sands and into the shallows of the sea itself. Desperate struggles took place around the ships as the Persians scrambled to escape. In the end, the Athenians managed to capture 7 of the Persian triremes before the rest of the battered fleet could pull away. The cost was staggering. The Persians left an estimated 6,400 dead on the field of Marathon. Mere 192 citizens who had given their lives to save their city. But the danger was not over. The remaining Persian fleet, still a formidable force, rounded the Cape, intending to attack the now undefended city of Athens. But Miltiades, realizing the danger, forced his victorious but utterly exhausted army on another grueling march 26 miles back to the city. When the Persian fleet arrived off the coast, they were met with the impossible sight of the very same army that had just defeated them, now formed up and ready to defend the walls of Athens. Beaten on the field and outmaneuvered at sea, the Persians had no choice. They turned their ships for home. The Battle of Marathon was more than just a victory. It was a thunderclap that resonated across the ancient world. It proved that the Persian Empire, for all its might, was not invincible. It demonstrated the supremacy of the disciplined hoplite phalanx and the courage of free men fighting for something they believed in. This victory not only saved the fledgling democracy of Athens, it bought Greece a precious decade, 10 years to prepare for the inevitable return of the Persian king, this time with an even larger army and a burning desire for revenge. The legacy of those 192 men buried under a mound on the plains of Marathon is the legacy of a world forever changed, a testament to the idea that even against impossible odds, courage and ingenuity can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as incredible as we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the most epic moments in history. We'll see you next time. Thank you for journeying with us through the echoes of history's most pivotal battlefields. We hope this exploration into the past has been as insightful for you as it was for us to create. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please show your support by hitting that like button. It truly helps us out. Share this video with any fellow history buffs you know. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, Battles Through History, for more epic tales. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we march into our next chapter. We love hearing from you, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time,